G'day folks, welcome to this quick update on this Fall Blau campaign from Fall Blau, Compass Games. Okay, so the last couple of turns, the Axis sort of closed the net around these Soviet units. You can see all these out of supply markers on the Soviets. They originally were looking to close the pocket around here, and then they managed to drive through this 12th Army area quite successfully and swung around and managed to pocket a few more than they had anticipated. This kind of created a big hole in the Soviet centre. The Soviets have been pulling back gradually. Soviet strategy is to try to slow down the Germans. They don't just want to give them free rein through this sort of central clear area. So they're trying to slow them down, trying to form what you can see here, decent defensive lines whilst also pulling back. So they're giving ground where they need to. Inevitably, you can see what the Germans are doing here. They concentrate their more elite forces, inevitably cause retreats on the Russians, create a bit of a gap, and then the Russians pull back a little bit further. That's been sort of the course so far. And the Russians are trying to pick this terrain. So there's this little river here, there's another river flowing along here. They're trying to pick that key terrain that gives them just that little bit of a terrain advantage. So this minor river here gives them a column shift to the left, and it enables them to set up sort of a solid front, which means that the Germans can't easily surround. And basically they may have to attack every Soviet unit along that front, which divides their strength. So that's the Soviet strategy, trying to divide German strength, force them into difficult attacks with low odds. You can see these guys couldn't retreat very far, so they're kind of stuck in that area. We've got the Donets River separating the Allied drive, a couple of roads and bridges crossing there. Rostov down the south is surrounded by the Axis forces now, but it's relatively strongly held by a good Soviet stack, so it may well hold out. It is a city hex, so it has some benefits for the defender. What else is happening? The good road network through this area is helping a lot of the Axis infantry advance quite rapidly to the front. So you can see via strategic movement, they're able to use these roads to very quickly get up close to the fighting. Along the Don River in the northeast, there was a bit of a race for bridges. You can see the Soviets have actually crossed over here to threaten the Axis flanks, and the Axis had to divert some infantry divisions out to the area. They're not counterattacking, they're just kind of containing that Soviet crossing of the Don. They would like to remove that threat and push them back across the Don without going any further. Way up in the north, sort of up here, nothing much has been happening. A bit of a stalemate. The Axis just don't have this. Again, the Soviets have formed a good defensive line which stretches off camera, and the Germans just aren't comfortable at attacking. Pretty low odds out there. What else? Okay, so Hungarians moving out to cover the flank along the Don River. Romanians are managing the isolated, out of supply Russians in the centre. There are some quite strong. These guys did not expect to be surrounded. So these two in particular are quite strong, solid Russian formations that have been trapped there and have been surrounded by Axis infantry divisions. What else? What else can I talk about? I'm adhering to the optional historical rule for limitations on Panzer Corps activations, and that's not a problem thus far. We're still kind of we're at the start of turn 8, and still at a point of the game where the Axis forces can quite easily manage their support limitations. They get 6 support points each turn. They flip headquarters over. It's more than enough to cover the front and pretty much everything they need to do. So we're probably still another 10 turns away from having support crises. What will happen next is, well, the Axis are really eyeing off Rostov here. They'd like to get across the Don River down here, and they want to continue driving on Stalingrad, way off in the distance off camera. So they're going to continue looking to poke little holes in the Soviet line. They are starting to suffer some armoured casualties. So along the way, I will also point out, the Russians have had amazing success with their combat strength draws. Whenever they're drawing these combat strength chits, they're drawing very high values. So a lot of the Russians, they took a loss, but I think they're up to a 12 or a 14. They've been very lucky with their draws. And the Axis have actually been targeting those A-ranked Soviet tank corps to try and reduce their strength. So they're kind of sacrificing, giving up ground to try and reduce those tank corps at an early stage, try and pick them off from the lines. I don't know if that's a good strategy or not. Probably not great, because the Russians do have a lot of replacements they can bring on. They get mechanised and non-mechanised replacements each turn, so it's easier for the Russians to rebuild those. But yeah, when the Germans saw that solid Soviet tank corps, they wanted to try to reduce it quickly, and they failed. So yeah, heading into turn 8, I will report back soon. Thanks all.